For the past few years, in fact since they very first came out, the Powerbeats Pro has been my go-to pair of earbuds for working out and running. The secure fit, the bass-filled sound, the easy pairing with iPhone, Siri notification support, and even the lack of noise cancelling when running outdoors near roads have all been features that I've appreciated. So, is the new model actually an upgrade on the last one? And should you cough up the cash for the latest model? I'm Cam Bunton, this is Trusted Reviews, and in this video, I'll answer those questions. Now, it's clear from the outset, and hardly needs to be said, that the big change between the older Powerbeats and the new ones is the reshaping and redesigning. Every part of the earbuds, from the charging case through to the hooks that fit over the back of the ears and the earbud portion itself, has been slimmed down and rounded. There's a definite softening of the shaping too. There are fewer right-angled flat surfaces. Every part of the build around the buds and the case has a soft, rounded curve. For those familiar with the Beats product line, you'll notice the earbud part that sits in the ear is very similar to the shaping and design of Beats Studio Buds and the Beats Fit Pro. There are subtle changes here and there, but I'm really pleased that the ambidextrous control system has remained from the first generation set. Being able to use a left or right hand to adjust the volume by pressing either end of the volume rocker is super handy. It's one of the most underrated features on the first pair of Powerbeats. Not having to think about how to adjust the volume while you're out on a run or in the middle of some reps in the gym, and not having to make sure you're using the correct side, is a real game changer. But one thing I'm not too enamored with is the multi-function button design. Instead of being a simple round button that's easy to feel and to press, it's got a similar button to the Beats Fit Pro where the back part of the earbuds presses inwards. I found it a bit fiddly to feel the right spot to press even after a few runs, and if you get it wrong, you end up pushing the buds in further, making them uncomfortable. More than that, you can't always feel any sort of tactile feedback, so you're relying on hearing the tone in your ears to confirm that you've pressed it. All round, just not very convenient. I understand the desire to slim down the casing, of course I do, but I feel like there's something that's been lost in terms of convenience. As for comfort, I don't find them any more comfortable to wear than the last generation. In fact, during my first session, it took me a little while to get the fit to a point where it was comfortable, and not have the tips fall too far into the ear. I've definitely had more of that pressurized, almost nauseating feel with the new ones than I ever did with the older model. But after you get to grips with the fit though and find the right tips, they're secure, lightweight, and ideal for lots of moving around, whatever type of activity you're doing. Having the hook gripping the back of the ear still means they're not buds I'd particularly like to wear for long periods. You can develop a bit of a pressure point on the back of the ear. Still, they're ideal for exercise sessions, but probably not for really long sessions behind the desk or long haul travel. But with that said, Beats has improved the durability of these hooks by building them from nickel titanium alloy, so they should at least last a long time. They're also tested for splash resistance, so whether you're caught in the rain or are a particularly prolific sweater, they'll survive just fine. If they're anything like the first pair at least, they will. These buds have been with me through multiple wet, sweaty, rainy runs, and they've survived just fine. Now, the charging case had a particularly clunky design last time. Compared to so many other personal buds, its large, cumbersome size made it less convenient to carry around than most. Fine if you're throwing them in a gym bag, less fine if they're in your shorts or jacket pocket. The new design at least solves some of that problem by being a lot smaller. Look inside and you'll see a lot of that comes down to the repositioning of the buds during charging. Instead of the hook protruding upwards into thin air, the buds lay at more of an angle so they're closer to horizontal than vertical. It's still quite a bulky case and not something I'd want in a pocket when I'm trying to travel light, but given the size and the form of the actual earbuds, it could be a lot worse. Plus, this time the case actually has wireless charging built in and Type-C charging instead of Lightning. Both very welcome improvements in a world where pretty much every other personal electronic device now uses USB-C. One other small but important update, there are now strong magnets that snap the buds into place when you put them in, making what was a little bit of a fiddly process much more instant and intuitive than before. Of course, we can't talk about the new Powerbeats Pro without talking some of the tech advancements, and among those, of course, is ANC. Like AirPods Pro, the new Powerbeats Pro has a smart noise cancelling system that can block out most noise from around you. And like most ANC, it's more adept at constant droning noises like cars on the road, train and plane engines and things like that. Now for me personally, about 90% of my exercise is running or walking, and a lot of miles are done on quite narrow country roads or along public footpaths around junctions in the road. So being able to hear cars and other vehicles coming up behind you is pretty much essential. It's why I liked the older Powerbeats, because they delivered loud bassy sound without blocking out noise from around me. I will say this though, being able to have the choice to switch from transparency to noise cancelling with the long press of a button is really convenient. It means that when I'm running along a pavement near a busy road and don't need to hear the loud traffic noises, I can activate the ANC and block it out. And when I switch to the narrow country roads or busy junctions, I can enable the transparency mode. And the transparency is good enough that I can hear the rumble of tyres on the road approaching behind me from about 20 or 30 meters away pretty flawlessly. Unless I have my music turned up a little too loud. And now we get on to the real improvements of these buds, and a lot of it has to do with the smarts built in. They've got the updated H2 chip from the AirPods Pro 2, and most of the features that's enabled by that chip, plus a built-in heart rate sensor in both ears. One of the big features is that while they're definitely built to fit seamlessly into Apple's ecosystem of products, they're also built for Android users. Unlike AirPods, you also get a proper Android app, which you can download from the Play Store. There's Apple's Find My support, which means you can find them if you lose them. Well, kind of. Sadly, there's no ultra-wideband chipset for precision finding, arguably one of the latest AirPods' best features, so the Find My feature on both pairs is pretty limited. It can tell you the last place they were seen, and offer the option to play a sound, which, if it worked, would be better on the new buds because the speaker that plays that sound is louder, and also chimes when you plug the case into charge, but getting the buds to connect and play that sound in the first place is not always guaranteed to work. So to me, it feels nowhere near as useful as it could be. Certainly not anywhere near as convenient as the precision finding available on AirPods Pro models. And on that note, it is worth at least mentioning reliability, and there's definitely an improvement here too. I'd often have times with the old Powerbeats Pro when I put them in to go for a run where it'd only play audio from one side, and I'd need to press the volume button on the mute side or put them back in the case and take them out and reconnect them again to play audio in stereo. The new buds have been pretty flawless in that regard, not had a single connectivity issue. Now a quick note on heart rate. Being 100% transparent, all of my runs are tracked using a smartwatch. Usually a Garmin, but depending on what I'm testing at the time, I almost always have a heart rate monitor on my wrist. So the heart rate sensor in the Beats, although a notable addition, isn't one that's all that useful for me. But if you do a lot of workouts that involve lots of moving your arms, particularly weights or kettlebells, anything like that, having a heart rate not on your wrist is actually a good thing. So if you don't have a smartwatch as well, again, having it in your buds could be super useful. To get access to the data, you just need to wear them while connected to a phone, and tracking a workout using a supported app on that phone, like Nike Run Club as an example, which works both on Android and iPhone. There are of course other compatible apps, so it's worth looking those up to see if these would suit you as well. Once the Powerbeats are connected and you've set the heart rate monitor system to be enabled, all you have to do is start manually tracking a workout in an app that supports them, and it'll track your heart rate. For Apple Watch users, you get the ability to have Siri read notifications out loud in your ear as well, and also you get Hey Siri support, personalized spatial audio, and as always, the ability to have your buds paired with all of your Apple products signed into the same account. That means seamlessly switching between your Mac, your iPhone, your Apple TV, iPad, or even your Apple Watch. As for battery life, it has been improved slightly if you don't use the ANC or transparency modes. Regardless, you're looking at anywhere between 8 and 11 hours of constant use outside of the case. In daily life, that means no massive change here. Up to 45 hours total with the case is, however, something of a 10-hour jump from the old model, but that's again if you don't use ANC or transparency. If you do, the battery life total is pretty much the same as before. Now, these are pairs of headphones, so it'd be impossible to get through a comparison without at least talking a bit about sound. Although oddly, with Powerbeats, it never seems like this is the biggest priority. At least it doesn't matter quite as much as using a pair of buds I'd have for home music listening or editing video. Still, there's a marked improvement from the first pair. You still get a decent amount of bass on the second generation pair, which is something of a trademark with any Beats headphones. But switch between the old and the new and there's clearly less of it. And so it doesn't permeate the whole track in the same way as the bass levels on the older model do, to the point where by comparison it does feel a little bit empty. The balance has shifted a little more in favour of the mids and the treble to create a more balanced sound where vocals and other higher pitched frequencies are more prominent, at least more than they are on the older buds. And this is comparing the new buds with the ANC and transparency switched off, and the Powerbeats in their neutral state. The ANC enabled, the EQ changes slightly, making it the tiniest bit less bright than with it disabled, but it does mean that you can use them in noisy environments like the train, plane, airports, train stations, or even at home when there's heavy rain clattering on the roof of your conservatory. It's that versatility that means to me they can be more than just running earphones. I can use them in the evening to watch the Apple TV when it's storming out, or use them in my office for calls and music when the kids are home from school, when I'm trying to get stuff done. Or I can use them when I'm travelling to events or down to London to the office. So in the end, I think that's the big improvement for me. While I don't think they're really any better as running earphones, not in any meaningful way, they are better as general everyday earphones that are also very good for workouts and exercise. Because try as I might to use them, the AirPods always seem to slip out of my ears when I try and use them for running or any type of exercise or working out. Essentially, the Powerbeats Pro 2 crossed that gap between regular everyday earphones and exercise earphones in a way the first generation never did, and are good enough at both that you'll only need the one pair of buds instead of having these as well as another pair. For that reason alone, despite some of my complaints, I think they are worth the upgrade. Let me know what you think of these new buds in the comments down below. You can grab me on social media, especially if you've got any questions for me. I'm at Cam Bunton in most places. If you did like this video, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe and tap that notification bell. And I'll see you again in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.